Hello and welcome back to another Dragonpme tutorial. If this is the second or third or fourth or fifth or sixth tutorial you've seen, well done for getting this far. I'd just like to start with discussing drives on Mac, because I know that drives are handled a lot differently than on a PC, and if you're thinking about swapping from PC to Mac, you might get confused, because I know I did when I first started using a Mac. For example, I've got my main hard drive, which is fixed inside, so I can't really eject that. I suppose I could, but I'm not going to, because it might be fatal. My external hard drive, which I showed you in my first tutorial, a little blue thing, right, I'm going to shove in a CD on my little mini Mac in the little slot there, and on the desktop it shall appear. One thing I would like to say is all drives appear on the desktop, whether it's a memory flash disk thing. I don't know what you call them. I've heard people call them memory keys. I've heard people call them flash pens. Oh, it's a DVD, so I'm just going to quit that application with Apple Q. I've heard people call them pens. I've heard people call them memory sticks. Anyway, you know what I'm on about. Them things you shove in your USB port and you usually get about 1 GB of data. You plug one of them in and it'll appear on the desktop as a drive, just like this. But CDs mainly I want to talk about. CDs, usually the first time I put in a CD I was like, okay, now I've got my CD working, blah blah blah, and I'm finished with it. How on earth do I eject it? Now, I wasn't smart enough to notice that on the keyboard itself, the Apple keyboards, in the top right hand corner is an eject button. You can press that to eject it. Or if you're not smart like me, you're like, how on earth, there's no button on the actual machine itself like there is on pretty much 100% of PCs. And that did my head in. I was like, I can't, but then I realized you simply click and drag it to the trash, and you see the icon just changed from a bin here to an eject button. Now you drop it on the eject button or the trash or whatever you want to call it, and voila, it is ejected. You can't see, but on my end the CD came out. Now, one downside to Mac OS X, I don't know if they're going to fix it in the Intel chips or if they're fixing it in Leopard or anything, but on my Mac specifically, when I eject a CD, it usually freezes the system for like a second or two. I mean, nothing crashes or breaks, but like if you try and eject a CD and do something else, it's not necessarily advised if you're doing something important. But I mean, I think it's just a small little technical hitch. It doesn't destroy anything or put you off. It's just something that I noticed and got a little bit frustrated by. So yes, any drive, be it flash drive, be it CD, you simply drag it to the trash and eject it. Just like that. Easy peasy. I know on a Windows, you'd have to go to the bottom right hand corner where the clock is and then click on safely remove hardware, and then you've got to select through the millions and millions of things on the list. And yes, I'll click this one, and then you drag it. No, you don't drag it anyway. You click remove and then blah 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 blah. Right, my friends are talking to me on MSN, so I'm gonna wrap up this tutorial. I hope you've learned something. If you're a PC user and you're wanting to switch to Mac, that's how you eject drives without having to go to oh wait, I'm just going to pull out the thing because I can't be bothered to go through this, that and the other like I do at college, university, whatever you want to call it. But I must say, on a Mac, if the drive doesn't make it to the desktop, let's say for example you put in, well, if you put in a CD and it doesn't come on the desktop, you'll hear the CD tray going blah blah blah, and then it'll spit it out saying it can't recognize the CD. So don't worry about CDs, but flash drives and stuff, you simply go into the applications folder. I like to list it I can't get my words out, sorry, alphabetically, and go into utilities, and you can go in the disk utility application. See, it's like a little doctor's headphone thing on the disk image. Okay, I make no sense, I never do. But anyway, who cares? That's life. And in here will be all of the discs attached, CDs, flash drives, external hard drives, internal hard drives, the lot. If you notice that they've got like two, that's the main hard drive, and this is like a partition. So if you had two partitions, you'd have two things listed under the Mac Store, 2F030J. You'd have two, because them were the two partitions. So partitions are easily made, created, deleted in this utility. And if nothing appears here, and you're slightly worried, I do suggest you go into the system profiler, and you should go on the hardware selection, go down to USB. I know these are usually like, just press a little triangle and it'll go down. And everything connected to your USB or FireWire, depending on which one you use, should be on here. And if it's not, then there might be something wrong with your USB ports, but I'm no expert, so don't take my word for it. This I've never had to do ever on my Mac. I don't know how I know it, but yes, 99% of the time it should go straight into your doctor's earphone disc thing. I hope you learned something. If you're planning to swap from PC to Mac, this is how easy it is to eject stuff safely. I emphasize safely because on a PC I know I just yank my flash drives out, and that's not very safe, and sometimes I've corrupted data. But yes, that's how you do it safely. And what else can I say? So bye bye. I've had fun talking to myself yet again.